Chronicles TV on air. We are now live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to another episode of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. In the previous episode, we begin the trial in having the Inspector Gregson's testimony. Today's episode right now, we're going to go into the summation examination. If you're hyped today's episode, make sure that like, subscribe to the channel so we're going to begin. I have to tip the balance of those scales the other way. I have to turn this around. Somehow. Those are the eyes of the quarry, not yet willing to give up and die. So I presume you intend to wield your rights again in this trial? Rights of defense written into an antiquated British law that should have been buried long ago. Call it antiquated if you will, but it's the defense prerogative to carry out a summation examination if it so chooses. Very well, counsel. In accordance with the letter of the law, we shall proceed with a summation examination. Are the members of the jury ready, Mr. Foreman? Of course we're ready. I'm also familiar with the Nipponese whippersnapper and his unctuous refusal to throw him in his alley. Yeah, we know who you are. Very well, then. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have determined the defendant to be guilty. Judicial findings. The juror's contentions. For pity's sake, the little Nipponese oddity already admitted himself, didn't he? If he said the woman in green collapsed before his eyes, why it can only be been the victim? The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop, not in the winter. So the poor woman was attacked from behind, was she? How dreadful. I really don't care. Can we just wrap this up now? I've got work to be doing. Your books, yes, but nice job, but bourbon books, no, not worth a visit. With only minor exceptions, the reasons for finding the defendant guilty are too clear. When the stabbing occurred, the only two people at the scene were the victim and the accused. And the accused himself has admitted to seeing the victim in her green overcoat sink to the ground before his eyes. Furthermore, we have heard from the inspector that the defendant then fled the scene. I must say I would have ample grounds to convict this man already. Oh dear, even the judge appears convinced of Mr. Natsume's guilt now. Why did he have to run away like that? And how are we supposed to believe in some phantom attacker that nobody could see? This is impossible. How can anybody possibly make a case for the defense? Mr. Naruhodo, this is no time for grumbling. If we want to force the trial to continue... Yes, I know. I have to turn the tide. I must make the jurors change their minds. Well, 4 of them at least. Exactly. We have no choice but to go forward. You have the floor, counsel. Begin your summation examination. Yes, my lord. I just need to keep this trial going somehow. Whatever it takes. Come on, Ryunosuke. You can do it. Defense rebuttal. For pity's sake, that's a little oddity already admitted himself, didn't he? If he said the woman in green collapsed before his eyes, why it can only be the victim? The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back to the bookshop. I'm thinking this guy and the old man. That's what I'm getting at. Hold it! But you can't deny that there are other routes Mr. Natsume could have taken back from your books. Oh yes, like you drew on the map, you mean? What was it? Calabash Road or something? Precisely. But it seems to me that what counts is whether the little Japanese fellow actually went that way or not. Well, yes, that's true. At the moment, there's no proof that he shows he did, is there? Well, yes, that's true as well. And as I understand it, the accused himself doesn't remember which way he went, does he? Well, yes, that's annoyingly true. Winter nights are dark and cold, so the way I see it, you want to get home as quickly as possible. Well, yes. Why is all this true? So really, the only thing that makes sense is that he went home along Briar Road. I'm supposed to be convincing you here. I have given a lot of thought, you know. I didn't just make up my mind on one whim that he did. I mean, if there was some logical reason why he might have gone the Calvish way, it'd be different. I'd be happy to consider my position in that case. Honest, I would. A reason why Soseki-san might have taken the longer way home. Yes, a good reason. I don't imagine you'd be able to sway a young man's opinion without one. The poor woman was attacked from behind, was she? How dreadful. I really don't care. Can we wrap this up now? I got work to be going.
Hold it!
Sorry. Hold it, you say? Hold what? No. What I said was, hold it. What I wanted to ask was, do you visit your books often? I like the old books they have in there, yes. I enjoy reading them over a nice cup of old tea. That's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day you're all talking about. And at what time did you visit your books on the day in question? Well, I was picking out books in there all afternoon, and it would have been just before 5 that I left. That's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day you're all talking about. Just before 5, you say? Exactly when the victim was attacked. Are you sure about the time? Oh yes, no mistaking there. I remember it well. I'm not about to forget that day in a hurry, not after the dreadful time I had. What do you mean? Well, I was walking down Calabash Road when I slipped on the ice and knocked my head. It's always worse after the snow stopped falling. That's when it's most slippery. Knocked myself clean out, I did, and really thought my number was up. Wait a minute, let me get this straight. This happened on Calabash Road? That's right, I live in Cornpipe, you see? Heading down Calabash Road is the quickest way for me to get back from your books. Juror number 6, I must insist that you add the information to your formal statement and it very well be extremely significant. Sorry. Extremely sick? No, I'm quite alright now. It sends a shiver down my spine to hear the members of the jury so convinced Mr. Natsumi's guilt. But I can't help feeling that some of their opinions are rather subjective. I agree, it's the irrelevance of what some of them are saying that sends a shiver down my spine. Still, at least some of their assertions don't actually incriminate Mr. Natsumi of anything. That's something. Well, we must use that to our advantage. Yes, you're right. Let's listen to the jurors again, carefully. Don't hold back. Pit them all against each other. I slept over the evening myself on Calabash Road. I knocked myself clean, you know.
Hold it!
And that was around 5 o'clock, you say? The same time as the victim was attacked? I don't know anything about the girl who was stabbed, but my dinner's on the table at the same time every day. And for the record, could you please identify the precise location of your fall? Goodness, it was eons ago now. I'm not sure I can remember. It was 3 days ago. Try dredging your memory, please. Well, let me see. It was especially slippery around about... Oh, yes, I remember now. It was just on the corner here. What happened to you then? Were you alright? Well, you don't get too many people down Calabash Road, you see? So there was no one around when I fell, no one around when I knocked myself out. No one around when I came to again, and no one around when I sneezed. So I picked myself up and went back to my nice, warm house where my grandchildren were waiting for me. A sad, lonely picture you paint, sir. You were fortunate not to have frozen to death. Yes, how lucky that he wasn't more seriously injured. True, it sounds like it was very nearly another hospital admission or worse. Ah, yes, one more thing. Were you wearing that same green overcoat on the day in question? Absolutely, it's the only coat I have. It took until this morning to dry out properly. Good job, too. I had nothing to wear here. So count your blessing, I say. Oh. Santa Claus? Suppose we should. This gentleman's only had a close shave there. And we're back over here. Okay, let's check on the other's reasoning. Excuse me, but aren't you... Yes, that's right. I was in the witness stand myself just 2 days ago. Yes, I had a feeling I knew your face, or the sight of it anyway. If I remember correctly, you're a banker, aren't you? That's right. After the gold rush down under, I came back to London to work. And it was all going swimmingly until you started forsaking me around. Bruce Fairplay was a man of repute. Sorry? Don't think I've forgotten how you treated me the other day. You had me and that young hatter pegged as criminals. Oh, well, you know, water under the bridge. Now there's all sorts of rumors buzzing around, and the police have been badgering me non-stop. If I could turn back the clock, I would. Well, anyway, I don't know about the hatter, but at least I'm in the clear now. What does this have to do with this? I'm free to make up my own mind about who's guilty and who isn't. Ha! Thank goodness. Alrighty then, maybe I might struggle to change this man's mind given our awkward history. Oh dear, I wonder what's become of Mr. First now. You sure it's not the guy over there?
Hold it!
You're right that at the time of the incident, the defendant admits to having seen someone wearing a green overcoat walking ahead of him. Well, quite. That's precisely my point. Clearly that someone wearing green was the victim. And clearly that funny little Japanese man with the disturbing mustache is the culprit. But let us not forget, madam, the defendant vehemently denies attacking the woman. Why, of course he does. If he admits to stabbing her, his life is over. The man is obviously a liver-faced coward, honestly claiming the woman simply collapsed before his eyes. But if the lies as you're suggesting do not think he would have concorded something more credible, oh, I really couldn't say. After all, you are foreign. Who's to say what goes through that funny little mind of yours? I could tell you what's going through my funny little mind right now, but you wouldn't like it. I do declare the man has already made the admissions. He himself has stated that there was nobody else around. Surely a conclusion is obvious. No one else could possibly have committed the awful crime. We could put her and an old man. If no one else could have done it, the accused must be the man. Really, it could have been more simple. Your argument is compelling in its simplicity, I must admit. Oh my, you are too kind, my lord. That went well for her. I think I have an idea who we're gonna pit against. I think I have an idea. Let me just save here. I think I have an idea what we can do. Yeah, she says that it must be him because it's someone in the green. And then the old man might have fell. In the court record, we got all this stuff. And that's her in the green as well. And he says he had some road. Let's see.
Objection!
Here we go. Those two statements clearly show a flaw in the juror's reasoning. A flaw? What are you talking about, counsel? Well, juror number 2. Juror number 6. My, whatever do you mean, sir? I think perhaps the old man didn't hear you. Unbelievable. It's not like I was loud or anything. There is at least one fact of which we can be sure here. The bookshop receipt found in the defendant's room clearly indicates that on the day of the attack, he had been to your books and purchased a number of second-hand titles. He then returned home on foot. But the man says he has no recollection of his return journey. That's correct. But what he does remember is seeing someone appear in front of him on the way. Someone in a green overcoat who suddenly collapsed on the pavement before his eyes. Yes, we are well aware of this. The poor young woman who was stabbed, obviously.
Objection!
Can we really be sure of that, madam? My, whatever do you mean? I'm sure you heard juror number 6's account of what happened to him that day. That same afternoon, there was somebody else apart from the victim, who was wearing a green overcoat and who fell over on the icy streets in the neighborhood. Oh my! My goodness, you mean? That's right. I'm referring, of course. Juror number 6, the hard of hearing juror number 6. Are you really suggesting that the person in the green overcoat whom the defendant saw collapse in front of his eyes was the jolly old gentleman on the end of the bench here with me today? That is entirely possible, yes. After all, the old man has somewhat similar build to the victim. Well, look at that. My goodness me. Huh? Sorry, you need a pee? And crucially, we know precisely where the old man in the green overcoat fell.
On Calabash Road.
Therefore, the person who Mr. Natsume saw collapsing in front of him was in fact juror number 6. It means the defendant must have taken the long road back to his lodgings. If that's true, then clearly, the crime scene on Briar Road where the woman was stabbed was not on his way home. You idiot old man, if you hadn't been so daft as to be roaming around there, we have boxed them off hours ago.
And really, what were you thinking wearing such a befuddling coat?
What did you say to me? Is it a crime for the elderly to walk the streets these days, Is it a crime to slip over the ice? Is it a crime to keep up with the latest styles and wear a beautiful green overcoat, is it? Hold it.
My lord, I do hope it won't cause any inconvenience, but...
You'd like to change your leaning, I presume?
I declared that I would. I should like to call for a verdict of not guilty.
Thank you.
And I would too.
What?
Is it a crime to change your mind? Is it? Well...
Yeah! Yeah!
Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. That was wonderful.
Well, we managed to change a couple of minds at least. It strengthened our position somewhat.
Yes, and it will prompt the other members of the jury to reconsider their stance as well. They'll be asking themselves if their current learnings are really right or not. Now, if we could just identify one more clue or discrepancy that would make them stop doubting Mr. Natsume, we might be able to tip the balance completely.
Yes, that's exactly what we got to do. Von Zyx is looking to bring this trial to an early conclusion. That's what we have to prevent, by whatever means we have at our disposal. Thank you, counsel. On with the summation examination, please. Yes, my lord. We went through that.
Hold it!
Whatever's the matter, young man?
You're the wife of Mr. Garridib, aren't you? The landlord who rents Mr. Natsume's room?
A master's wife? Where do you get the idea, sir? I'm the maid you understand.
She's keeping up the charade. This is going to be awkward. Why did you mention this yesterday? That you be selected for the jury in this trial, I mean?
Well, I was told not to mention it to anyone until the day of the trial, you see. It was in the letter I received. The instructions were very clear, so I'm afraid I had no choice.
I see. Anyway, Mr. Natsume, the defendant takes lodging in your master's house, doesn't he?
Yes, that's right, although he's only been a little over a week now.
And in that time, surely you must have taken stock of his character. Does Mr. Natsume look like the kind of man who would commit a crime such as this? She'll say yes.
Oh my goodness, yes, he's just the sort.
What?
Spending all his time in the dark and dingy room sporting an unscrupulous mustache. The man never speaks, and don't get me started at those shifty eyes. All the neighbors are talking about him.
I've heard them, you know. People think he must be building a bomb in there or something.
Oh dear, poor Mr. Natsume. How could people say such things about him? He's just a harmless bookworm. Nothing more.
Well, you just called him a worm, so... Anyway, I better be careful about inviting this maid to speak. She's said enough damning things already.
Hold it!
A man's life is on the line here, sir. This will take as long as it takes.
Don't get clever with me now, son. My life's on the line too, and in my family.
Huh?
The likes of you would understand, but a laborer like me can't afford to take time off. If I don't work, I don't eat, and neither do the wife and kids.
Oh, I see. That must be very hard.
I got to the union every morning to find out what needs doing. If you're late, the work's taken, it's tough. This time of year, there's the water and gas supply pipes bursting left and right and center. They're after the cheap labor to get the roads dug up to fix. It's hard slog from dawn to dusk, it is.
So you're out digging up the roads on the day of the incident as well, were you?
That's right. In fact, if I remember rightly, it was just around the corner from where it all happened, by the old bookshop it was.
What? Another coincidence?
That's right. Meerschaum Street it was. Meerschaum Street.
On the map, Mr. Naruhodo, there are only 3 named streets.
Juror number 5, I need you to add the information to your formal statement, please. What's the point of that? Can we just go with this business over now?
Please, sir, it's important.
Press.
Hold it!
So if I understand correctly, you're a day laborer and you're doing road maintenance that day.
That's right. Like I said, you get a lot of burst gas and water pumps on the ground in the middle of winter. It's the only time of the year fellows like me can actually make a few bob, and I'm missing out today.
And when you say from dawn to dusk,
Well, the work has to be completed with a day, see? No coaches or pedestrians can pass while it's happening.
I'm wondering if I could trouble you, sir. See, mark on the street map the exact location of the works you were carrying out.
Give it here then, let me have a look. Right, let's see. Here we are, Meerschaum Street. Yes, it was here like. It was a tidy dig, I can tell you. We had to get through all the drifts of snow that had frozen solid.
And what sort of time did you finish the work?
Well, we started in the morning and we can't have finished gone before 6, I say. The snow had stopped coming down, but it was long past dark for sure.
That means the roadwork was still going on when Miss Green was attacked around 5 o'clock.
Roadworks on Meerschaum Street, huh?
Okay, we got this guy. Who we gotta put him up against? What were the testimonies?
The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on the way back.
I'm assuming it's this guy and the big buff guy. Because his logic says that there's a road blockage right there. So, press hit. No! That's not what I meant. It's X. It's X to do the thing.
Move it!
X marks the spot.
Objection!
The two statements are clearly at odds with one another. At odds, counsel? Explain yourself.
Please don't point. It wasn't me, I swear.
Oh, what? I just want to get done dusted.
Well, juror number 3? Oh, Misa? What do you mean?
Juror number 5's words just now are extremely significant. Let's take a moment to consider the implications of what's been said on the map of the local area. On the day in question, Mr. Natsume visited the bookshop, if you hear a loud noise, my bad, to purchase a number of second-hand books. On the same day, we now know that there were books being carried out on Meerschaum Street, making it passable, which means the defendant's route home could not have taken him long along Meerschaum Street and down Briar Road.
Oh yes, of course. What do you think, sir?
Well, yes, you can't argue with that really, can you? We must have good 2 yards or more of the pavement up. Every gentleman and gentlewoman that came along had to turn back and go the other way around. So, the only conclusion is this. The defendant must have taken the longer route back to his lodgings.
Yes, I suppose he must have.
I suppose that must be right, eh?
Juror number 3, you said the following. The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop. But we see now that he had no choice. Yes. My lord, Mr. Judge, sir, if I may.
Yes?
I don't think in all good conscience that I could say the man's guilty now. Yes, I'd like to see this trial continue so we can get to the bottom of what really happened. What about you, sir?
Who, me? Well, alright then. If there's a hole in the prosecution argument, it should be filled in. That's what I say.
Ooh.
Well, that's
that summation examination has concluded with a rather large shift in opinion. The ayes 2, the noes 4. So the noes have it. Not guilty, they say. Which means we no longer have consensus among the members of the jury. The trial will continue.
Objection!
Could it seem churlish of me to drink from my hallowed chalice moments after raising an objection? Only to crush it in disgust? Pray forgive the discourtesy.
Lord Von Zykes?
It seems I must retract my earlier remark.
What do you mean?
I mistakenly credit these jurors with intelligence by describing them as insightful. Yet we have just witnessed them falling for a cheap trick performed by an Eastern entertainer.
Ah!
Whatever do you mean?
Objection!
I haven't tricked anyone. Everything I've said is the truth.
Indeed, stalwart jurors number 5 was undoubtedly repairing the road as he claims. I believe you said it was a good 2 yards of the pavement which you have excavated, sir?
That's right. Took me the whole day to pay me measly tuppence for all.
Now, my learned Nipponese friend, tell me, do you have any notion of the distance that 2 yards represents?
Well,
If I'm honest, I don't have a clue now.
2 yards is about a little less than 2 meters.
Less than 2 meters? That's not much at all. In other words, a distance readily vaulted by anyone of moderate vigor. Would you not agree, my stalwart friend?
Me? Well, I can't say you're wrong, no.
What?
And did you perchance erect a sign to prevent pedestrians from passing the site of your work?
I wouldn't dream of it. What a waste of time. No coaches would have had hope of passing them anyway, and we just turn gentlefolk back when they come. Kids just jump right over us all the time.
The accused is no gentleman, as far as I can see. I have little doubt, however, that he could spring over a 2-yard trench in his meanderings.
Excuse me.
Around town.
Ah! Is that true, is it?
The incontrovertible truth is that the books just purchased by the accused were found at the scene. There can be no doubt on his way back that, to his lodging, Mr. Knotsway walked down Briar Road. Crush in a single sentence. And, old man.
Cold man, you can talk.
You say that around 5 o'clock on the day in question you slipped and fell on Calabash Road? Pray, was there any suspicious looking Nipponese behind you at the time?
Can't say as I remember.
You don't remember?
How about a wager, my learned friend? You say it was this old man that the accused saw, but I would lay 1,000 to 1 against you being able to prove it.
Order, order. Lord Von Zykes, explain yourself.
My lord,
If you had such a trenchant argument up your sleeve, why in the world did you not proffer it during the summation examination?
I wanted to give this young foreign student the sightseeing experience he no doubt came for. I want him to see for himself how the opinion of the jury is so readily swayed. But my hospitality has its limits, and they had been reached, I feel.
Oh, here it comes. He took off his cape.
So my learned friend, today's sightseeing tour of London is now over.
What? What are you talking about?
My lord, the prosecution requests permission to call its next witness to the stand.
Granted. Bailiff, bring forth the witnesses.
And with that, we'll end the episode right here. Like, comment, subscribe, Chronicles TV, and I'm signing out.